G'day guys and welcome back to Nicaragua. I've had a nice surf this morning. Oki is currently outside the van because once again he's covered in black sand and filthy. If you follow our Instagram account, you'll have seen that at my friend's place where we're staying, he's just constantly dirty no matter how much I try and keep him clean. Anyway, for our second installment of the build series, I'm going to show you the simple process of how to convert a galvanized tub into a beautiful kitchen sink. To take you through the process, I'm going to go through some of our old build photos and walk you through step by step how to do it. So, without any further ado, let's get started. Step 1. Use a couple of pieces of timber you've got lying around to raise the tub off the surface level, whether that's the ground or the bench. Do this so there's enough clearance below the middle of it, so when you drill out the hole, there's space so you're not drilling into the surface below. Step 2. Measure and mark the centre of the base of the tub. Step 3. Utilise a hammer and a hole punch to indent the marked centre. Step 4. Using a metal hole saw drill bit, like the one seen in the top left of this page, drill a hole through the indented centre. Step 5. This was definitely Oki's favourite part of the sink build. Sit a baseball in the drain hole and use a rubber mallet to constantly bang directly down on top of the baseball. This causes the hole to bend inwards to allow for the drain piece and should also concave the base of your bucket so it slopes towards the sinkhole. This is a really important step as it stops water staying stagnant in the bottom of your sink. Step 6. Insert the drain piece and secure. After sliding the drain piece through from the top, you screw on the bottom to secure it. We got a universal drain from Home Depot for about $10 that had a self-sealing piece of rubber and it has never leaked. Step 7. Sink installation. Now the process for this step may vary depending on the material you're using for the countertop and the way you're planning on installing your sink. For us, we wanted our sink below the countertop level so it was sunk in a little bit to make it not quite so high. We were doing it in old pine timber. So the process we used was we stenciled the base of our sink onto the countertop in the desired location. We then added an extra 5 centimetres to the circumference of our stencil. This will obviously vary depending on the shape of your tub you go with, but for us it worked perfectly. We then used a jigsaw to cut out the hole for the sink and sanded it smooth. And finally, step 8, securing the sink. Because our sink fits so snugly in the hole we had cut for it, all we had to do was lower the sink into the hole, and I used leftover putty tape that we had actually used from installing our roof fan around the lip of the hole. When we pushed down on the sink, this sort of pushed the putty tape together against the sides of the sink and really held it firmly in place. And so just one final thing to note. If you look up in the top right hand corner of the picture where you can see the sink protruding down through the countertop, you'll notice that there's a white layer of tape around the bottom of the sink. This was just an extra precaution we added, and we used waterproof roof seal tape just to make sure there was no leaks at the seams of the bucket because this is the weakest part. And that's it. As you just saw, it's actually quite a simple process, and I feel like anyone could do it at home. It requires minimal tools and is a pretty cheap job to do. Although in this circumstance we're using the sink in our van, I feel like this sink would work really well in any form of home and add a lot of character. And in terms of how it's held up, we've been living full time in the van for 10 months now. We've never had a leak. We love it because, not that we try to let it happen often, but you can let the dishes pile up a little bit and you still can't see them from the side. It's also big enough that if you're desperate, you can wash your hair in there. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. I hope you found it useful. Please let me know what you thought in the comments below and give it a thumbs up if you liked it. We'll see you next time.